Let's have a look at the maintenance workspace that's available in your Rumbleseed account. Now, the maintenance workspace, as the name implies, will be all of the maintenance tasks that you've created for any of the items in your digital garage. So there's two ways to create a maintenance task, and the first is in collection. So if you actually add an item to your collection and you go down to the maintenance section, and if you create a maintenance task directly in an item, that will show up in the maintenance workspace alongside of being, of course, included in the actual item. Now, if we go to maintenance, you also have the ability to directly create a maintenance task by clicking the Create Maintenance Task button. And we'll talk about that workflow in just a moment's time. So again, two ways to create a maintenance task: directly in an item or directly from the maintenance workspace. Now you have the ability to select your maintenance records. So at the very top, you can see a topmost checkbox. And if you select that, it will select all of your records. And then you're free to deselect certain records if you wish. But the select all really allows you to see how many records you've generated. So how many maintenance tasks there are in your account. Here you can also download the selected records as a CSV file. This is a great way to take your data outside the system and take it offline into a spreadsheet if you wish to manipulate your data further. And of course, you can delete any selected records. Now, as we make our way over to the right, we've already talked about the ability to create a maintenance task. We're going to work through that workflow in just a moment's time. But I want to point out a few other little features here. Here we have a total maintenance cost sum. So this takes all of your maintenance tasks and it's going to add them together just to give you an understanding of your total investment in maintenance. Next, we have a filter and sort, which is generally available on most of the workspaces inside of Rumbleseed. And that allows you to really filter, drill down, and see the data in a specific order. So here you have the ability to filter by specific items in your collection. So if I want to see all of the maintenance tasks for a specific item, I can make that selection. And once I do that and click Apply Filter, that's going to go ahead and just narrow down those results. And once you've done that, you'll notice a results label here, and it will show you the item you've selected. You can go ahead and dismiss that, and that's going to go ahead and reset your filter. So again, filter, sort. You can also sort by status, which is pretty important for maintenance. So you can show all. You can see the maintenance tasks that have been scheduled, those that have been completed, or those that are overdue. So a great way to, again, filter if you have a lot of maintenance task records in your account. Last, we have the ability to visualize these maintenance tasks either in a grid view or a list view. So the choice is yours in terms of how you want to see the data. Now let me introduce you to what we call a maintenance task card. So what you see initially is just some key information, and each maintenance task has its own little card here. So you can see the title of the maintenance task. You can typically see notes. You can see the item that it might be associated with. You can see the status label. So in this case, this top one is overdue. We have completed. We have scheduled. You also see the due date. You can see whether it's repeating or not, and then you can see the maintenance cost. So it's kind of a quick, high-level summary of the maintenance task in a card view. And of course, there's a little checkbox here, a little icon with a check mark. And if you click that, that will mark that task as complete. So when you make that selection, it's going to pull up the complete maintenance task window, so you can add final notes. You might want to record the odometer at task completion. A lot of these things are optional. And as a quick reminder, only something with a red asterisk with a red outline around a box will inform you that that happens to be a required field. But when you do complete your task, think about taking a moment to enter in notes. Again, any of the other information that's available here, like odometer reading. You can even drag and drop or attach files. So this is a great way to maybe add invoices or records about the maintenance task that might add value to in the future. So that is the process of actually marking a task as complete. Next, you have the ability to edit. So if you click the pencil icon, that will edit the original maintenance task creation. So if you need to modify or make any changes, that's how you can get access to the original maintenance task. And of course, you have the ability to delete and remove if that's appropriate. So let's now, actually, I'll show you one more thing before we get into actually creating a maintenance task. So it's possible you can create a maintenance task and have it repeat. And as you confirm that you've completed maintenance for those repeating maintenance tasks, we will create a little history here. So you can see where it says maintenance task history, and you can see I can expand that window to show the history and the sequence of all of the maintenance tasks that I have completed. So it's possible to have one card, but then have many different task histories just to indicate all of the past maintenance that you've performed when it's a repeating task. So I'll point that out. Now, as we make our way back up to the very top right, let's go ahead and create a maintenance task. So if I click that button, here we get a modal. The very first option is you have the ability to toggle to do a general task. So think of a general task as something that is general for your garage or maybe your shop. So let's say that you want to do, maybe you let's say every 3 months you do, shop cleaning, right? You can go ahead and do a general maintenance task, which basically transforms this from a maintenance task that's associated to a specific item to just something that's general. So that's your option. And I do want to point out, anytime you see a little eye icon, like information icon, you can hover your mouse and that's going to explain what that setting is. And you'll find those all throughout Rumbleseed, just a quick little hint and indicator of what that particular function does. Now, as we make our way down, if we're just creating a standard maintenance task for an item, you can see the first option is Rumbleseed wants to know, well, what garage item should this maintenance task be associated with? So this drop down here, this is going to be a list of all of the items that you've added to your Rumbleseed account in your collection. So you can go ahead and make a selection for whatever is suitable, and then you can assign a task title. So this is a way for you to be descriptive and just put a concise title about what this maintenance task happens to be. So I'm just going to use air filter just as a quick example. You can also add a detailed description if you want to put notes, maybe what type of oil you're using or what brand of filter, whatever is relevant and valuable in terms of information with this maintenance task. Feel free to enter it here. And again, optionally, you can log a maintenance cost. So if you know the cost of, say, an air filter, you can go ahead and put in that maintenance cost and again, track all of your costs. Then you can put a due date. When is this maintenance task due? So you can go ahead and make a selection. And then you also have a little toggle here that you can enable to make this a repeating maintenance task. So you can enable that toggle and you'll get some additional fields here where you can choose the interval. So I can say repeat every, let's say 1 year. So this is an annual task, or every 2 years, or whatever interval is appropriate. So every 3 months, I'm going to change the air filter. And then the next option is repeat until. So you can choose a future date that you want this to continue to repeat. If you leave it blank, it's just going to repeat until you edit or modify or even delete the maintenance task. Next, you have the ability to assign a reminder. This is a really important way to get an email alert and to get an in-app notification about your upcoming maintenance task. And that way you never forget to perform maintenance. So I can say, give me a notification and an email reminder 1 week before the maintenance task is due. Next, we have the ability to attach photos or files. Again, this is great for record keeping. You might want to snap a photo of the air filter packaging just to remember whether it be the size, the manufacturer, whatever details are relevant. You can attach information here, including invoices, if maybe a third party is performing the maintenance. So once you're done, you can just click save and that maintenance task will then be created. And then you're free to use the function like we reviewed in order to maintain and manage that maintenance task. Well, this has been an overview of the maintenance workspace in Rumbleseed. If you have any questions or need help, make sure to reach out to the Rumbleseed support team, and you can reach us at support@rumbleseed.com.